Hello, everybody. Hey, and welcome. Welcome to the comedy college class finals. Woohoo! And I want everybody to remember this is not like Survivor, a game show. No one today will be voted off the island, no matter how good or how bad. We are not extinguishing anyone's flame. So I just want everybody to know and have a great time. You know, throughout the class, I have found out that I am quite the half-wit. And when I say half-wit, my mind goes everywhere. But the good news is, where can a half-wit, like myself, be semi-successful? Only in America. So it's been great to have this. But as I've gone through this, I've been thinking, I am a half-wit. I'll be sitting in church and on Sundays and the priest is talking and he's talking and my mind is going everywhere. My mind is just running. And he's talking about patron saints. The patron saint of education. Hey, St. Thomas Aquinas is talking about the patron saint of education. The patron saint of transportation, St. Christopher. Who knew? St. Christopher. Well, saint named after a saint. And I travel a lot. So I got thinking, some of the patron saints that I would like to have was, who would be the patron saint of alcohol? Who would be the patron saint of alcohol? Would it be Saint Jack Daniels? Saint Jose Cuervo? And if there is a patron saint of alcohol, there's got to be a patron saint of the hangover. You're going to drink, you're going to feel bad the next day. And so I got thinking, and my mind's racing. I'm a half-wit. I'm sitting there in church. And The Hangover, the movie, really good. Maybe the patron saint of The Hangover would be Zach Gallagher. Maybe it would be Saint Bradley Cooper. Saint Bradley Cooper, maybe he is the patron saint of The Hangover. My gosh, that might not too be bad. Also, while I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, we have banned a lot of things in church. The things that I think we should be doing. We used to be able to bring your dog to church today. Bring your dog in. Hey, here's my dog. And until the dogs all decided that they wanted to go to the holy water bowl and get a drink. They're licking. No more dogs in church. No more seconds on communion. You go through the communion line one time. One time is it. That is all you get. I don't know why we're banning that, but that doesn't. And maybe we should become more inclusive on there. Maybe have a different style of hosts, different styles. Maybe stuffed crust hosts, gluten-free hosts, stuff like that. Also, why is we only bring out the wine at the end of church? There's one of the things we've banned. We've banned gulping. We've banned drinking. We've banned chugging. You get a little sip, just a little sip. Nothing big. But wouldn't it be great? And so I'm thinking, as a half-wit, wouldn't it be great if we had cocktail waitresses running all throughout the church all day long? Hey, would you like a beer? Would you like a wine? White wine, red wine, mixed drink? Would you like anything? But if we had cocktail waitresses coming all the way through, attendance at church would be huge, I believe. I also think that if you had a good priest, you could go ahead and have a 2-drink minimum for everybody that came to church. That way, maybe we'd have one less collection plate. Who knows? Who knows about that? Oh, and by the way, being a half-wit, this just came into my mind. Make sure you're tipping all of your waitresses and wait staff. They're the best. Woo-hoo-hoo! As I go along a little bit, and I'm thinking a little bit more there's a lot of really, really bad jobs out there. And some of the jobs I think about would be bad. The first one would be a school photographer. My gosh, the school photographer, his job is to go ahead and get these snot-nosed, booger-eating kids to look good in their class pictures. And that has got to be tough. Every mom, every dad knows their kid is the most beautiful child out there. And I love children, don't get me wrong. But every kid has got to look good. His hair's got to be right. You know, they're combing their hair, they're getting them all ready to go. Lice is running throughout there. I probably lice everywhere. But the photographer knows. Some kids are just ugly. They're ugly kids. Mom and dad don't know that, but they're ugly. There's nothing you can do about that. So his job is terrible. I would never, ever want to do his job. Another job, color guard, the colon cancer screening kit that they send to you. That's got to be a terrible job. And the job would be, first of all, color guard, they send you a box. You poop in the box. You seal the box. You send the box to Indianapolis, Indiana, which I just found out may be the poop capital of America. Somebody, the poop specialist, has got to go ahead and he's got to open that box, take the poop out, give the poop to the poop analyst who goes ahead and analyzes your poop. Well, so that's going along pretty bad. You got a bad job. You got to take the poop out, then you got to analyze the poop. Then somebody, a poop communicator, has to email you back that says the results. And they may say, hey, congratulations, you pooped in a box. And you went ahead and there's nothing wrong. Good work. And eat more fiber. Who knows? But whatever the results are. But what a terrible job. You got a poop specialist. You got a poop communicator. You got a poop technician. It's terrible. What a terrible job that would be. Another job that I wouldn't like to have. I just found this out. Kentucky Derby is going on. Belmont Stakes. Thoroughbreds. They cannot do artificial insemination. They have to go ahead and they've got to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. There's no artificial insemination. So there's got to be somebody there that's getting that horse ready. Kind of a horse fluffer, for instance. And that horse fluffer, he's going ahead and it's his job to get that male horse ready to go, to get going on this. And so, is he watching horse porn? Secretariat does Seattle. After, like Debbie does Dallas. Philly's Gone Wild. After Ladies Gone Wild. College Girls Gone Wild. Something along those lines. Or are they going to farmer.com and the subset would be sexy horses and they're doing that for their Tinder site? Are they hooving instead of swiping left or swiping right on their Tinder? Are they hooving left or right on the horse Tinder page? There's all sorts of things that would be terrible, getting that horse ready for action on there. Speaking of getting horses ready, a couple years ago, I had some graffiti painted on my street outside my home. And that graffiti was a giant blue penis. And when I say a giant blue penis, this thing was 20 foot long. I mean, it was huge. It was hilariously big. And so I saw that and I'm working my yard and I run over to my neighbor's house who have a couple of teenage girls and I'm talking to their mom. I said, do not send your girls out there. We've had a giant blue penis painted on our street. And I'm going to call the city at 8 o'clock to get them to come out and get that done. So sure as the world, I call the city at 8 o'clock and I said, hey, I've had some graffiti painted on my street. And they said, well, what kind of graffiti do you have? I said, well, it's hard to describe, but it's like the spaceship, the starship getting ready to take off. It's long and it's long and tall, and it's got smoke coming out the top, and it's erect. It is getting ready to take off. And the city person says, I'm not understanding. I'm just not understanding. They said, what graffiti do you have? I said, I've got a blue giant penis painted on my street. By God, come on. And he says, oh, blue giant penis, we'll be there in 15 minutes. So like all good city employees, I've got 6 city guys out there, and they're looking at it, and they're measuring it, and they're looking at it, and they're oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, but the policeman must have gone ahead and been called to, because sure as the world, CSI Manhattan is there, the police are there. CSI Manhattan, they're taking DNA samples along the tip with the smoke. I'm saying, oh my God, this is really serious. WIBW comes. We got the lady reporter, and she's got her tape measure out, and she's measuring across there, and she's trying to get the circumference of it. So all of a sudden, we've got everything going on. The police come to me, and he says, Mr. B? I said, yes. He says, this obviously to me is some high school prank, something along those lines. I said, high school prank? Hold it. Why are you blaming this on the high school kids? He said, well, that's probably it. I said, that's so wrong. How do we know it's not Meadowlark Hills, the retirement center? First of all, old people, we give them art classes all the time. They're up there, they're painting. Plus, they've got plenty of time on their hands to think about stuff like this. Hey, that'd be pretty funny. Let's paint a penis on somebody's street. And they have free transportation. How do we know that they didn't come at midnight in their van, jump out, spray paint the penis on the street, jump back in giggling, go and head back to Meadowlark Hills? We just do not know. And he says, well, you're probably right about that. So again, being the half-wit that I am, who would be the patron saint of large penises? Maybe it would be Saint Dave Carpenter, for instance. Or maybe it would just be Saint John Holmes or Saint Peter. Oh my God, Saint Peter would be it. Hey, I'm Chris Barr. Thank you, everybody.